Es mi orgullo haber nacido en el barrio más humilde, alejado del bullicio y de la falsa sociedad. Tengo la desgracia de no ser hijo del pueblo. Encuentro entre la gente que no tiene falsedad.
So, give us some background on how you got involved in the work that you do at DePaul. Wait,
What?
we need to do the first one over, and you need to mention your work with Obama.
Okay.
And those positions you talked about, like being a Chicago Quarter mentor, are leadership positions.
I'm not doing
This year.
I'm not doing anything this
Oh.
right
So
now.
you can say
Just
I've
like-
been involved in.
We're
Just
gonna dive
say
and catch you.
I've been involved. You can just say various.
I have been involved in-
cultural activities, and or you could say stars and or through the Office of Multicultural or whatever you want to say, and then also politically active through the Obama campaign.
So then I shouldn't talk about like should I say what I have done or what I will do?
Do both.
Okay.
Just do it as like what you have done and what you will do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just skip the middle.
I have currently been involved in that. I'm going to. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So name, year, major, and then involvements.
All right. My name is Francisco Javier Valencia Jr. I am a third year here at DePaul, political science major. I have been involved with the Lead-In program, the Chicago Quarter Mentor program, and STARS through the OMSA office. Next year I'll be an RA and a Chicago Quarter mentor again, as well as MLC project assistant. I'm also involved outside of school with the Obama presidential campaign.
Great, thank you. So now if you could give some specific background about how you got involved in the work you do, and if you could try to like either focus in on like talking about how you got involved in leadership or how you got involved in the Obama campaign or how you got involved in OMSA, and maybe say Office of Multicultural Student Affairs if you say OMSA.
Okay. Well, I knew that as a commuter student, I had to be involved on campus to be happy. And I've always been a leader in whatever role I've been in. I'm the oldest of four. I have always been the leader of the class, captain of the sports team. And so that kind of lended itself to getting involved in leadership on campus.
So what are your motivations behind the work that you do? Like what motivates you to get up in the morning and work for all these different things that you do?
I think there are two big motivations. One is feeling like I'm making a difference, a sense of efficacy. I can always see the work that I did throughout the day or the project or a year. In the case of the Obama campaign, him getting elected, that I felt like I contributed to that. But also working with people, seeing either the peer mentors, the mentees, students, other people who are also motivated and who feel like I'm helping them maybe figure out their leadership path, or just kind of being a friend to them and maybe giving them advice in ways that they might not receive at home or from their own peers. So feeling like I'm making a difference and working with the people that I've been working with.
So if you could just say again my motivations for doing the work that I do, like the two main things that motivate me to do the work that I do are.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's my fault. The two main motivations for doing the work that I do are feeling like I'm making a difference, a sense of efficacy. I can see throughout the day or the month or the project or however long the commitment is, I can see the difference that I've made.
So how do you think that socially responsible leadership plays a part in the work that you do? Like, what are the things that you do, either on a daily basis or monthly basis or whatnot, that you would consider to be socially responsible, or how is your work socially responsible?
Well, I view socially responsible leadership as working to create justice in areas that maybe have been lacking that. We live in a society that is very unequal. And so the things I try to do are work with high school kids, work with children of color from low-income neighborhoods, and try to maybe get them best prepared for school, for high school, get them to start thinking about college, maybe helping them with the college application process, to try to try to contribute to making things better, making things how I think they should be, and building relationships with them and letting them know that they can succeed and they can make a difference in their own way, whether that's through business, through community service, through education. And so I think, like I said, the ways I do it are just volunteering a lot. I'm working through the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, and in conversations with people. Not if somebody says something that's I feel inappropriate, what we'd call politically incorrect, then try to spark up a conversation about that, and not necessarily sit them down and chastise them like the kids, but create a dialogue.
Can you do that part, just the part about you have to know who you represent, and so then talk about what you represent and just knowing who you are, like personal identity.
Okay.
Just that
So
little
like to
section.
say, to be a socially responsible leader, I think that you have to know. Yeah.
All right. To be a socially responsible leader, I think you have to know who you are. I think you have to know who you are and what you represent to people, and not necessarily like your family or your friends, although that's important, but maybe to greater society. And if you're walking down the street in Lincoln Park, you might represent one thing. If you're walking in Austin, West Side Chicago, you might represent another thing. And so I think gaining a sense of personal identity that maybe can incorporate some of the stereotypes based on how you look or how you feel, how you think, but also rejecting those and figuring out who I am regardless of what other people think. I know I represent a young male Latino, and that there's a lot of baggage that carries. And so I can maybe pursue the stereotypes, being involved in gangs or in drugs or not valuing education, or I can break those down and do what I've been doing, getting educated and getting involved in the community and in political process. So I think that's huge in terms of being a socially responsible leader, because it's hard to help people maybe figure themselves out or figuring out what they need if you don't know who you are and you don't know what you need. And I think reflection on that personal identity is huge for everybody, and I don't think that necessarily is exclusive to a socially responsible leader. But I think to be one, you need to know who you are and what you want to get out of the experiences that you're getting and what you want to give people. My name is Francisco Javier Valencia Jr., and I am a socially responsible leader.
Perfect. And then the last thing we want is just a line saying, I'm a socially responsible leader because I, and then one word, 2 words, because I care, because I am. You know what I mean?
I am a socially responsible leader because I hope.
Let me show you this music.
Through the DePaul website. He's one of the students that's featured, and I clicked on it. I was like, who's this guy? And I read a little bit about him. I'm like, man, he's really cool. He's doing a lot. He's really involved. And then I started seeing him around the office after I started here in last December. Got introduced to him and thought he was a great gentleman. And then he applied to work for the Men of Color Initiative, and I was like, great. I'm gonna have a really good staff member on my team. And it's been nothing but that since Frankie joined the Men of Color Initiative this fall. I was at an event and somebody asked him what he wanted to do after DePaul, and his words were, I want to change the world. And if anybody is gonna be able to do that in the short amount of time, I really truly believe that Frankie Valencia is gonna be the person to change the world, or change Chicago at some point. Frankie's involved with the Voices Project, he's involved with the Men of Color Initiative, he's an RA this year, and he volunteers for DCSA. That's a lot for somebody to be involved in. And before I hired him, I had to have a conversation with him about whether or not he was gonna be able to manage everything. And the only thing he said to me was, "I got this." and he has it.
Ooh, they even left some food up here for me. Good morning.
Good morning.
I told the guys I'd say this joke real quick. I don't know, I think they're in the back. What do you call a dog that has a low bark? A subwoofer. Since birth, I've always had a roof over my head, clothes on my back, shoes on my feet. Even if some of the shoes I've had for years, and my mom, dad, and Sue are telling me, "Come on, man, let me buy you some shoes, let me buy you some shoes." I said, "No, man, my Vans are good, they're good, I'm still good." I've always been a dreamer about the world could look like, about what the world could look like. I've never had anybody tell me I couldn't do something. I've never had anybody tell me that the world cannot change. I've been surrounded by people who themselves have been symbols and people of change in their own lives, in their families, in their communities. I've always had a family that has loved for me and cared for me. And that alone, I feel, makes me one of the luckiest people on this planet. Our house was always like the halfway house of the family. I can't think of a 2 or even 1 year span where we were completely alone, just the 4 of us in the house. Anytime one of my cousins left their house and they couldn't make it on their own, they come and live with us. And going along with the idea of the teamwork, that's what they built the household to be like. So it wasn't, we're the parents and we're gonna work and you kids can do whatever you want. It was, we're the parents and we're gonna work and you kids are gonna work at school. You're gonna come home, you're gonna do the dishes, you're gonna sweep, you're gonna help clean the house, you're gonna help cook dinner, do your laundry. This lifestyle helped me dream of a world a little more equal between men and women, where the gender roles weren't so defined, or was it you're a man and all you do is work, you bring home the bacon. It was you're a man and you come home and you do just as much work as your partner, whether that happens to be a man or a woman. One of the things that I've developed here at DePaul is my desire to seek connections with people, regardless of how different they are than me, regardless of how they're classified by society, regardless of where they're from. And more than just connecting to them, I want to talk to them. I want to work with them. I want to learn from them. I want to teach them if I can. Ultimately, I want to grow with them. There's this quote from the 70s. It's an Australian Aboriginal group, activist group. And it's along the lines of this: if you have come to help me, you're wasting your time. But if your struggle is bound up in mine, if your struggle for freedom, for liberation, is bound up in mine, then we can work together. One of the recent ideas I've gained here at DePaul is the idea of interdependency. It's not just working together, it's more than that. Basically, it's where the sum of all parts come together and are more powerful and more valuable than each individual part. So it's not, for example, there's maybe 400 people in the room. It's not 400 people giving 100%. It's 400 people giving 400,000%. And when I think of it like that, I think about how powerful that group is, how powerful this room can be. I think about how much energy and how much change can be affected if we work together, fed off of each other. This motivates me to continue to seek relationships, continue to build relationships with people, get some positive work done, whether on campus here at DePaul or in the city. Possibly the biggest lesson I've learned, though, is the idea of being intentional. Intentional with my words, intentional with my actions, intentional with the way I present myself, intentional with the work I get done. I've learned to be intentional in the work I do outside of class and not be carried away by impulse or fear or pressure. I know that I am my own person and I am content with myself. And this gives me a sense of power that so many folks lack. But this also gives me a sense of responsibility to help other people to see that identity, to feel that empowerment. I feel like I give that to, I try to give that to people that I mentor maybe in high school with CPS, here at DePaul with STARS program, or with Lead-In, or the MOC. I also stop folks and just chat with them. Every conversation I have is a serious conversation. Some of the RAs laugh at me, and they're just like, Frankie, you gotta let loose, man. So let loose, for what? There's work to be done. We gotta get some subs going. Look at me, okay, sure. I've only been as happy here at DePaul by being involved. I've learned so much about myself. I've learned so much about my community, my city, DePaul, other people. My last message for the underclassmen and the young folks out there. I challenge you to take a risk. Take a risk in dreaming about a better world. Take a risk in dreaming about everything that's possible for your life. Dream about how to improve it. Dream about bettering the lives of people around you. Dream about the need to build a better world. Dream about all the opportunities to do just that. Sometimes we may not see them, but they're there. Maybe we need to ask questions. Maybe we need to get pushed. They're there. Take a risk and dream about leading. Leading your families, your friends, your networks, your communities. Lead them to do good, to be loving and caring people. Lead by example. Don't let doubts, fears, pressures, concerns, don't let that hold you back. Dream, lead, and take action. We need you. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, and have a good rest of your day.